We are getting ready to go live.
Friday walks out. Okay, all right, we'll let you in. All right. Dominic's.
Stopping.
Yes. Probably not.
Lockdown? Lockdown? Ready? No?
Okay. We are live streaming, and whenever we're ready, I'll hit the record.
All right. Good to do that. All right. That's what's warm. Call this meeting to order at 5:37 p.m. And first item of business is the adoption of the agenda. We have a typographical error on the agenda. We need to correct business. Well, A, B, and C, discussion and action. It says 2025-2026 budget. Sorry, still coming kind of revision. Are there any other revisions in here that we can talk about? Motion to provide it in.
So moved.
Okay. We got a second. Because we have somebody by Zoom, I believe we have to do a roll call vote. So, well,
Yes, aye. Fabian?
I can barely hear Aaron when he's talking now.
oh, sorry. We're doing a roll call vote. Dominic? Aye. Pat?
Aye.
Dave? Aye. Rhonda?
Aye.
Aaron? Aye. All right. Can we have a motion to adopt the agenda as amended? Well, I thought the no, we were amending it and now we're adopting. Oh, some people together. Yeah.
I'll motion, this is Rhonda.
I'll second. All right, any further discussion? All right, all in favor? Veronica?
Aye.
Fabian?
Aye.
Dominic? Aye. Pat?
Aye.
Dave? Aye. Rhonda?
Aye.
Aaron? Aye. Okay. All right. Something? Oh, you know what? Let me just double check. And AKCS, now that I don't check it. Understood. Oh, it's fine. All right, give me a second. I apologize for making me sign in. Of course. I need it up quick. We don't have any public comment. So, comments from council members. Seeing none, we can move on to our council committee reports. Oh,
On April 2nd, several of us on the committee met with Christie via Zoom and reviewed the draft of this policy that our attorney provided for us. We made some changes. That would be the first reading.
I think the changes are awesome.
Oh, good, you actually looked at it. I didn't mean that to flip it, but. Thank you.
So basically, changes what we attempted to do with the committee to capture the concerns that were brought at our last meeting. And the document did have some there's internal inconsistencies. Try to make it more internally consistent, straightforward, and easier to follow. But we basically put what they that is prohibited, then the exceptions of the prohibition, and then the exclusions of prohibition. So the exclusions are these are never prohibited. All.
Makes it read a lot better.
Yeah. I think
Not as confused.
Person to follow, to administrate, subject to follow. So, again, word by word to y'all. So we're gonna let you all read it. Everybody read it on. Very good.
Just let me know when to scroll down.
I have two minor suggestions. Get to that part.
Are they below what we can see now?
No.
Okay, well, why don't we hear those first before we read through it? That way we can-
I was gonna suggest taking off the number 1 by adults and just removing the 1 because there's not a part 2 that's currently, so just removing the 1 up there and just saying, I don't know if you want it to say by adults, but I think the 1 needs to go. And then my other suggestion was just to capitalize head administrators throughout the document so that it's policy in it.
Those things. Thanks.
And I don't feel like those are like content, or we would have to go back to another first read.
No, again, as long as we make them right now and then read everything in, then we've got.
That's editorial.
Obviously. Now it brings up the violent adults, because that's the best way to start that. Or should we be a little more clear? Policy applicable to adults. Do I continue with that change? That makes it clear. Yeah. On adults to be in.
2 adults? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Everybody ready?
Did you want to do a global reflex on head administrator? Grab the document, we'll just do it as we see it.
Yeah, we could do it that way. Tell me what,
So head of the administrator not capitalized to both of them capitalized, right? Basically.
and you want them both, sorry, both capitalized or not capitalized?
Both capital.
Both capitalized, okay. It's been a long day, sorry. I will do that after, unless we have to see it that way, unless you have to watch me type. Let's see. Find it. Pin it. Mhm. Okay, so we're going through that first one and we're ready to be at the exceptions?
No.
Okay.
Good.
Ready for me to go? Okay. It was just a tiny bit more. To make sure there's nothing down there, sorry.
Anybody have any other suggestions for first reading?
That's. So is this, the semicolon? Should that be a period at the end of that, or is that supposed to be an and?
You could put an and after this one,
Yeah, and then, okay.
Because then it connects, so then it's a non-subject piece policy.
all right?
Good. Would you go into the first paragraph again?
Yes.
Partway down, I think it's the first one where it says head administrator that they didn't get capitalized.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Oh, good catch.
All right, well, then I think that we have got a good policy for our first read. I think it's ready for a second read and our following reading. Everybody agree with that? No. Excellent. All right, well, thank you, Veronica. Okay, and the one you just edited, where'd you say that?
I will send it to somebody who will put it in Dropbox where it goes.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, then. We're on to our new business discussion and action on 2025.
Don't need a motion for.
No, all we're doing is read it. Happy with it before we set the topic.
We need to change the dates on all those.
Wait, and I don't have a editable version on this. Yeah.
Yes, I missed up. We are having new business discussion action on 2026, 27, but
Yeah, sorry. I don't have this downloaded in a way to edit it, so.
doesn't.
Okay, so we'll start with the budget.
I'm gonna have Laura start, so Laura start with talking about how we came up with the SG allocated.
So SAG, I took our 81-20 day average, I haven't put it into the total PED provides to us. Essentially, they give us the breakdown. Eventually, I just don't have that. And I'm not sure when I'm gonna get that quite yet, probably at the end of the month. So what I did was, is I took their tool, I took our 81-20 average, I took our spend numbers, this thing from prior year to this year, so anything that I didn't fully know how to predict at this point in time, I kept it the same on compared to last year, and our average enrollment right now, or I do know what our new at-risk multiplier was for a language was. Apply that into the total to come up that SCG allocation amount, and that is with the 2% removed. So that is truly what we have to work with.
345 students came from where?
That's our 81-20 day average. It's actually 244.50 students, so I don't think that's
So we built the budget on the 345, we did not project any growth. Although right now, according to numbers from the lottery and from, parents who have said their students are returning next year, I do anticipate that we will be higher than 345. I just don't, to start the year anyway, but I don't know, we only start the year and then it triples off by 40 days. So we felt like going with 345 was safe. We also were concerned that the state may not approve projections of an increase because of, there's a lot of, there still continues to be a student shortage across the state. So we felt it was better to play it safe. And then when we get our actual 910B5 and we know the exact SEG that we're working with, then we can relook at things if we need to.
Budgeting few people, was it?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna talk about that, but the implications. So,
you see, I've estimated this SCG because it truly is. I don't know what the final number is. Now, same with ID and B, last year we did have a decrease, so I actually took our current award this year and I decreased it by about 60. Again, just trying to be on the safer side. We did get Title IV this year, which was, or is next year, which is interesting. That's at 200 you see there, that's a new allocation. And I did set of salaries benefits from 30 to 40%. Medical's going up 9.5%, dental's going up 4% in terms of costs. So I was trying to play on the safer side. This is kind of the in between of the highest deduction possible for medical premiums versus the lower ones.
I also wanted to make sure to think about the legislation passed that schools will not pay for 80% of insurance premiums and employees 20% instead of 50-50. So, we anticipate that by open enrollment, more people may either shift from a low option to a high option, or they may decide to get insurance to now instead of whatever other option they currently have. So that's why we increased a little bit. PEP has told us that is being incorporated into the STG, but we don't see
When is your open enrollment?
October.
Okay.
And then
Increase in cost if it went from 6% to 80%.
yes, but not everyone is on the same breakdown. So there's different salary brackets. So right now we actually do for anyone who earns.
This would be like our case.
Yes.
Our applicant will change.
Right, so they'll be the same. So we're looking at the level one teachers and if that's who's changing. Or yes, it's still be.
So open enrollment's October for an implementation in January, so it'd be about 6 months of the hire. So it's open enrollment and when does it actually go into effect? July this year.
Enrolled in.
Yes,
But then when
Yes. that's when it'll go up.
Yeah.
Okay. Got
And so they can't change like, ooh, then it's better now, we're gonna open the roll now, and they have to wait.
Yes. And things like supplies, I looked at recently for rent maintenance here to kind of anticipate that. Same with the contracted services, there's a whole tab on contracted. I looked at this for it. And you'll notice I did indicate some things to SB9.
Those were already allocated for the current year.
Yes.
Well, we did this additional to SB9.
Did,
The only thing on this, on the contracted services that changed significantly was memberships. We reduced it from 7,500 to 1,500, which is removing out our PCS event.
Moving our what?
Our membership to the Public Charter Schools of New Mexico organization. So we feel like, you know, well, we're gonna talk more about salaries here in a second.
Okay.
To kind of talk about why we needed to, feel like we had to make an adjustment.
Worried about it?
No, we've been part of it. Just back in the day, it was called the coalition, and then there was a time when the school couldn't be members because we just wasn't financially feasible. Ron, we can talk about that a little bit than I could, because that was before my time.
I think we were actually maybe to. Or, I think they are pretty. Remember, but
Yeah, it's about $6,000 a year for the school to be a member. We, you know, it is very helpful, for sure. But when we're looking at having to make some cuts, we were also thinking about, you know, is there, once we kind of have a better sense of what next school year is gonna look like, we can make the decision at the beginning of the year to join and then look at these.
a little bit cheap.
Yeah, this year, I can think, right?
Go ahead and do you want to go back to that presentation and finish that?
I looked at this here and estimated it based seeing for current year expenditures. Additional rent, 1,600 that we're paying our foundation additionally, we're just gonna take that out of HD. Operational budgeting, overall here. And I put instructional materials all the way at the end because it really is it's not like you can choose to move that around. That's, you know, you must use instructional materials. I'm gonna show you what we're getting for it for our classrooms, but and our ending balance should be higher than this. Okay.
What was our carryover?
let's see.
It's paying almost 1.2 billion.
We're budgeted very, very closely.
And to the point, without the carryover, you'd be off by a couple $100.
Slight,
Like $476.
Your salaries, perfect for them.
And, but we did have to make some adjustments. So you want to go ahead and go to the salaries page. So, what,
Carryover for salary?
no, it's all that. So the other piece that came out of legislation this year, in addition to the 820, for the insurance plans, was an average 1% salary increase. And Laura and I have gone back and forth looking at our salary schedules again, even though we did significant increases to our salaries before, we're still competing with AKCS.
Yeah.
And so we're still looking at that. So we did take a look at the salary schedules. I think in the end, we landed on increasing them by $1,000 at each level for teachers. And so that meant that some people are already over that proposed salary. Some people would have to have a little bit of a bump to get up to that salary schedule, but it still wasn't enough for a 1% average across the board, and we look at all salaries. So what we try to do then, because looking at an average 1%, it's like, okay, well, who gets the bump and who doesn't bump at that point? So what we decided to try to do is build this with a 1% across the board for people who were not, for the people who were not, who needed to, some people had it's bigger increase because they that far off of the salary schedule. So for the meet the new salary schedule, it may have been a 2 or 3% increase. For other people, it's the 1%.
And
So
did,
the 1%.
go ahead.
The average percentage.
And that's my question. Did they keep the word average? Because like for higher ed, they struck it. They just said 1%.
Always.
So yeah, it would be, I mean, the fact that you did 1%, that, I mean, you're safe there just to make sure.
Sorry, she was saying that the average language in higher ed struck the word average
1%. Okay. So I would either, the fact that you're doing 1% for everybody, at least that covers, but just to be sure, you might want to check it out.
And then in looking at salaries, the first priority was looking to determine all of our current positions. What could we do to maintain all current positions? So thinking about a student enrollment of 345, we're currently at an enrollment of 336, we have 17 general education classrooms, 7 special education teachers, 4 related arts certified, 1 related arts non-certified. And I think we have what, 19 a social worker, business manager, 3 admin, nurse, health assistant. So we looked at all of the positions, right? And then we started really through thinking about the school. What do we need to be able to effectively run the school for 345 students, make sure that we still have good education programming. So we maintained all of the through 8 gen ed teaching positions, all of the special ed teaching positions, and all of the related arts positions. We did have to remove 2 EA positions, so going from 19 EAs down to 17. Actually, it's 16. I'm sorry. So we went to 16, 2 of which are part-time to make a 1 full-time. So that we'll essentially end up with 15 full-time equivalency positions, which 17. Plus we have 1 special education resource. So what we're looking at is potentially and of course EAs are always going to go based on student need. When we don't have 1 EA per classroom, we always have to take based on the greatest student need for the service. Right now, what I'm anticipating is an EA for every K-5 classroom, and then every 2 middle school classrooms shared. Each having their. And then, you know, it creates some challenges. I mean, you know, we do have a significant population of students with special needs who require different accommodations and so forth. So having the extra PA in every classroom makes it help in terms of students, but we have to make cuts somewhere. The other cut that we looked at, so we could take several. So we have 2 EA positions that we put part-time, and the health assistant part-time nurse position we took down to 2 and putting that into
Where you have the same headcount as forecasted year. We have. We won't have enough budget for this.
because It's a great question. I mean, if the expenses keep going up and then the unit value. And that's to offset it.
Money for a higher student count in the first 40 days.
Which then,
We don't lose our funding.
Don't we have to do it all?
We don't, if we're under 45 students, yes, we would have a budget increase. Oftentimes, though, what the state does is the unit value increase and it offsets it, like is what, that's what happens. And, but then if we're over, and let's say we end up with 370 students, and we're over our 345 that we're budgeting for, then we would do the budget.
But I understand the expression is, if your 40 day, it wasn't as high as you projected, wait for me, or lower from day 40 on.
Like we've just got our final bar, or the final adjustment for this year, based on our 40-day, here it is now, the beginning. We just got that based on our 40-day. And even though we had an overall decrease from our projection to our actual at 40 days, we're still getting an increase in our budget.
Would you project growth position and expect it all even?
We did project.
Oh, yeah. So then, if they project favorable.
The budget,
It's always been.
appropriate budget 45, which was average.
Yeah, that's what we asked.
Will you grow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. So essentially what we're proposing is, a 1% salary increase across the board, cutting 2 EA positions, bumping some of the positions down to part-time, and reducing the nursing position from full-time to half-time, and reducing memberships from 1,500, I'm sorry, from 1,700. Those are all the changes that we talked about, right, Laura?
And the bump to halftime occurs in the EA.
And the nurse.
Yeah.
So what happens, kids can only get sick every other day?
Health assistants. With the health program, it's just depending on if it's a nurse or a health. So we would have, yeah, we should have a nurse a week and then a health assistant 3 days a week. There would be coverage all 4 days and then 1 day of overlap.
Okay. Thank you. Like only allowing them to be.
I do too.
No, but I have to do it.
Good, because I think one of them that's a negative.
I know, I was just searching for it also.
Here's what that's. Oh. What they have this year. I'm actually that average, and they're still getting a lot of.
What can we spend our surplus on again?
Our carryover.
Like supplies?
Mhm.
So can we take supplies budget and put the salaries and then use carryover for supplies? As an example.
We could. I'm hesitant to do something like that, only because even allocating as much as we have over to SB9 and HB 33. I think one of the things we have to take into consideration is sustainability year over year in terms of your operating. And the more you allocate elsewhere, when you have nowhere else to go, then what happens when
Whereas budget like this, and depending on how it all comes in, you can some things through bars, right?
Some things, sure, bars like what?
Like any supplies and stuff.
plumbing issue or they factor,
Budget is in terms of that you meet your budget based on grants and revenue.
Even at 65,000, that, if we needed a level 1 teacher, that was even a full.
Read.
And if our numbers hold as they look like right now, if anything, we need another level 1, if anything, more easy. So like on our wish list right now, if our numbers held exactly where we expect them to be, EA would be on our wish list. The only way we need another. Which we.
Rhonda, what are your thoughts on today's question about when we are moving out, like the cost of supplies, for example, and
Is that realistic? Do you have enough in activities to cover that?
amount of carryover
Yeah. Oh, you can use it then.
for supplies?
Oh, for supplies? Oh, you would just even carry for.
You can, and it's, but you can do that, but I'm just thinking about.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of been your focus is looking at what's happening with nutrition and what's happening with the numbers and how can we really kind of avoid the cuts.
Wait to see what happens when you're.
Not reacting to years people now in a harsh way and instead act as we go.
Well, here's the salaries compared to AKCS.
Okay. Nope, sounds pretty nice.
I thought we used to be higher.
Our salary schedule this year was 71, 83. And we really did look at AKCS. We also published all the other charter schools. So we actually did look at a few schools that were like ours, to see where did we fall there as well. And related to other charter schools, we're kind of in the middle. I did like maybe mid-high. We're not the highest, but we're also not the lowest. In terms of APS, it is really hard. When you break it down to the number of days and hours. And so we're trying our best to get there.
They have the same amount of hours as we.
There are 190 days for the teachers. There are 180 days for elementary school.
So when we did that, exactly, yeah, it's off by like $3 to $4 an hour.
Because they are working at the
Hourly rates.
They made it so they will compare. Yeah. No.
I mean, there is like, there are other benefits to it, right? Like the schedule and, I mean, there's,
And I think you have the now. There are other benefits. I don't. When even I went back to APS, I never had any.
Mhm.
And we do that once. Yes, exactly. Whereas here we have that once. We offer things like me.
Hopefully the mission of school is that
Well, professionalism, have more time.
Yes.
So that's something can. So if they like that kind of growth.
We looked at trying to increase this more, and starting 1,000 higher than what you see now, and even that wasn't enough to get us to this, but it really had impacts on cuts that we would have to make in order to maintain that. I do think that there's a trade-off, right? Like you say, we could have a higher salary schedule, but then we're not gonna be anywhere close to having. And even now, we're not gonna have any in every classroom. We'll be a little shy of that.
It's more of that problem.
I have a hard time, so like, where is our row? Or our column?
So you see where it says level 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah.
So a one teacher, and they might have a bachelor's, or a bachelor with 15 extra credit hours, or a bachelor's plus 45 credit hours for master equivalent, and so forth. And so then you look at their education, and you
But that's what I thought, but this table doesn't have comparison. So the
Comparables,
comparable,
maybe.
is that verbal?
Yeah.
Those. So the overall dollar amounts are compared in the middle, this is what you're saying, so like we're higher than some, lower than others. The hourly wage will get that a little bit.
Well, and if you look at it on an annual basis, it's the hourly, because we have more hours.
We're all across the board, we're higher than this.
That's better.
And some people look at it, if I am willing to work harder, for more money. Well, they're really, I want to know what I'm making every hour of my life. When they do that, the numbers kind of people never. I get more hourly gain from the fact that go. You're looking for.
And the same thing kind of happened with the EA when you want to compare it to AKCS. And the integration was it 12 cents or 11 point. And then let it do the 0.5% down. The only thing is with that, it really didn't get our E's to 1% increase because it wasn't a 1% increase on the salary schedule. So all of our E's are pretty much above this salary schedule.
So just to kind of give you a perspective on the teachers, when we're talking about the annual salary comparison to APS, a level 1 teacher in APS starts at 58,625, and we're proposing 60. We're currently at 59, so we're proposing a bump to 60. For a level 2 teacher, they in APS they start at 70,350. And I can't read the screen, so I think it's thank you. And then for level 3 in APS, they start at 82.
Why do we have, I mean, because we have Fridays off, how do we have more hours just to wait until? Okay, longer school day.
It's an hour longer.
I thought our longer school day was 50 days.
But the teachers not because of professional development days. The teachers are here 20.
Like $5 a month. Yeah, I got kind of over a home.
Does you get those stats from other schools, like other charter schools or APS, and how many professional development days that are offered to them? Okay, I mean, because that's like pretty fantastic, right? And if you're getting 20 professional development days, I mean, that's pretty awesome.
But it's still developing.
Right, not exactly. Not all organizations offer that regularly built into somebody's contract.
When they do professional development, we talk about it when you go through like salaries. You get like certifications and stuff, for that, or is that more internal professional? An accreditation that makes them more valuable if they go somewhere else.
Go and say, I've been trained in crisis prevention, I have CPR training, and then there's required annual training come out of the school you're at. Like bloodborne pathogens, sexual harassment, like that, so that carries with them anywhere, but it's also required. But there are certain certifications that we offer because of our program, like crisis prevention and aid that they may not be able to get somewhere else.
And we didn't change the salary schedule. Honestly, this year we. It feels like we've never really had outside. They've all been internal and all our EAs are more than this already. So we did not get to think about this part.
We usually in-house. And I think for the most part, it really works for us because we've been able to manage it, that they're able to cover and be the sub, and they like to leave the extra pay during those times. It's really hard in those situations when we use outside sub services and you sub out for a teacher who comes into the school and who knows nothing. So why not just pay the EA? Who could use the extra money and our
Need extra. What's an LT?
Long term. So they have to do staffing.
First.
They get an extra hour per week.
Anybody have any other questions about the budget? Was it nice on her to make one budget?
No, we want this.
Yeah.
Or making the day before and do it. Why don't just.
So, out of curiosity, what would we probably
It would look like an extra teacher.
one extra teacher?
And again, I'm working with limited information because I have that breakdown from PET. There are some calculations I can figure out on it. There are some that 8120, I don't know how we're calculating that for school. So I can't incorporate that. So even that 365 is working with very little. We felt it made more sense closer to what our 8120 was looking like with our.
I'm a kind of conservative budget. When it's Rosie, I think Rosie. So this is not how the. All right. Well,
To do motions on approving these?
we certainly do. We certainly do. Would you like to take our stab at the first one?
Sure. I move we approve the 2026 estimated budget as presented.
I'll second.
Do we have any discussion, any additional discussion? Then let's go to a roll call vote. All in favor? Veronica,
Aye.
Vivian,
Aye.
Dominic,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Rhonda,
Hi.
all right. Can I get a motion to approve 26, 27?
All motions. Please set in the calendar schedule.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? And we'll start with Veronica.
Aye.
Vivian, Vivian, all in favor?
Aye.
Dominic?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Rhonda?
Hi.
And aye. All right, last but not least. Wait, back for time.
Yeah, this will be really, really fast. So on the calendar, when Laura was, I don't know what you were doing, putting it into OPMS, she realized that we had one extra day in the calendar than we needed. We had 181 days instead of 80 days, and in looking at it, we had an extra professional development day and then so what I decided to do, and looking at all of them in April, so April, I took the one that was on April 23rd and turned it instead of a professional development day, made it a snow makeup day.
Didn't mean to be driving down the highway.
We need to make up any day that's this because of snow, right? Because we
Yes.
only have the exact 180 days.
It's hours, right, so we had a 2-hour delay, because students have to make it. So we did have a 2-hour delay earlier here, so we're extending our last instructional day for students by 2 hours to make sure that all of our requirements. So, thank you.
Oh, and we went on the fine.
What was the difference between level 1 and level 2?
Like certification or everything. It's really weird. So one whole.
Went all the way over to MBA or whatever.
You can be a level 1 for a lot of education, but no experience.
Right.
But it went all the way down to like 20 years or less. But normally you wouldn't make it all the way down there at level 1.
Not so
Could you move over?
that, the state actually, let's say that she's staying at a level 1 for so
So that's
many.
why I should was
The rest of your.
All right. Any further questions on? That case, may I have a motion to approve the 26, 27 calendar revision?
So moved.
Oh, did you?
I'll,
also, it's easier, you can cut paste.
What's that thing do over here? All right, any further discussion? All right, all in favor? Veronica,
aye.
Fabian,
Aye.
Dominic,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Rhonda,
Hi.
Aaron, aye. Motion passes. All right. Well then, I believe we have any more business this evening. So I don't have to hear the roll call instead of the motion. I'm just gonna adjourn. It's 6:31 p.m. Normally I do a motion. You don't need to learn it.
You're really good.
Yeah, we still have a meeting next Wednesday. I know it's not like we're meeting the whole time.